The mind is incredibly powerful. With it, we've created so much. We've created this existence that we live in, civilizations in the world as we know it. But with it, we have also created death and chaos and destruction. Today, I wanted to talk about thought forms and how to use them to create the life that you truly want and deserve, as opposed of using it to create something destructive and chaotic. Before I do that, though, for those who don't already know, my name is Angel A, also known as Angel the Evolutionist, formerly known as Angel the Healer. And on this channel, we talk about spirituality and the occult sciences as it pertains to self-help and personal development. If that's something you're interested in, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you will be notified when I post my next video. All right, y'all, so let's get right into it. We're talking about thought forms. First of all, what is a thought form? A thought form is an entity, right? It's an actual entity that you have created with your mind that brings about change in your life, whether it be good or bad. It serves as something that brings a function to you via your thoughts. All right, so we can do this collectively. If you think about Jesus Christ is a thought form. Jesus Christ is a very powerful thought form because it was created thousands upon thousands of years ago and has been used and energized by the hands of millions and millions of people. Everybody who prays, just think about the people who pray, read their Bible, dance in church, cry out to Him, and all these different things. You know, they are strengthening and growing that thought form. You create thought forms on an individual level, y'all. And excuse me if y'all hear my children. They're in there playing. But you create thought forms on an individual level. Okay, so let's say you were brought up with the belief that you were ugly, that you were not pretty, or that you weren't smart. Okay, and you grew up with that belief. You were told that as a child, and you grew up with that in your mind. And as you grown, you know, that belief stuck with you. Well, you have just created a very powerful thought form that is going to function in a way and put you into situations where you are going to feel more like you were ugly, more like you were not pretty. You're going to feel that so strongly within you because you created this thought form that's not necessarily going to make you ugly or make you not pretty, but it's going to reaffirm, it's going to invite situations that's going to reaffirm that belief within yourself. And then it might do so, you know, it might actually work to dumb you down or to make you have issues to where, you know, you might feel ugly or seem ugly or whatever the case might be. The point is, when you create a thought form and give it, and charge it and, program it with a certain intent, you better be ready to deal with that intent because that intent is going to be programmed in that thought form and you will get that, that thought form will bring about that reality, right? So those are examples of how we have created a thought form both collectively and individually, without even noticing. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, different religious, people, and things like that were thought forms. You know, religions within themselves were thought forms, you know, because religions aren't real. Jesus, you know, isn't real, but, people swear that they feel his presence and they, you know, they have experiences with him because he is real in a sense that he is now this energetic form, right? So, how you would create, and let's just say this real quick, just for the ones who may be skeptical to believe that you can actually do this and you can actually create something with your mind, a being with your mind. Let me explain what you are. You are a part of a collective consciousness. Your existence, your very existence, your reality as you know it is nothing more than you call it the source or God or the all or whatever you would like to call it. Okay. The creator, whatever you would like to call it. You're a part of that. You're a part of that source. You're a part of that creation because all it is consciousness coming into awareness of itself. Right? But in order for source to have an awareness, it had to create a body, a vessel, and experiences to have that awareness. Because before, when it was nothing, it was just nothing, and nothing. How can nothing experience something? It can't. So the source had to create different realities and existences and universes and bodies so that it can, for it to experience. And so all of us, all of these beings and all of these different creatures and, different things that live and exist are a part of that source experience in itself. So then if the source can think and will things by its own will into existence, how can we not do the same? And we are a part of that source. The only reason why we can't just think whole universes into existence just like that is because we are limited because of our vessels and because of our shells that we're in, that the source created to experience. So, part of the, part of the give and take with that is that it would lose its, ability because, we're now in these shells. We're not part of the source as the ultimate source altogether. We're part of the source that is experiencing itself, in individual shells, if that makes sense. And so now, we don't have that power to that extent, but we still have that power embedded within us and our make and in our DNA code because we still are a part of that source as individual vessels on this 3D plane. So even this 3D plane of existence, this plane of forgetfulness, a lot of people don't know their divine power. And so, a lot of that comes because of the plane that we're on and the vessels that we're in, these 3D vessels. There's other beings that are more closer to source and have more of awareness of who they are in relation to source. On other dimensions and other planes, and they're able to do more. They're able to create thought forms. Essentially, you in this body itself, as an individual, is a thought form. That's what you are. You are the source that thought up its own self in the shell that you're in, that you call a body, that you call you. And as you're looking at me on this screen right now, you're looking at yourself as the source in a body experience in itself. So how you would create these thought forms is you would get into a quiet, nice, the idea is to get into a receptive state. Right? Because when you're in a receptive state, things are able to go past your consciousness, past the ego, to the subconsciousness, which is where your higher self resides, right? Your conscious thoughts, the thoughts that you think in your mind that you can hear in your everyday world or whatever, that in your awakened state, that's where your ego resides. Your subconscious, your higher self resides. You want to get into like a meditative state or a really receptive state. And within that state, you want to close your eyes and you want to, with your intentions, you want to picture a ball of energy. You do your hands like this. And you can even, because I'm an energy healer, and because I'm so used to, this type of work, this dealing with energy, I instantly right away feel the heat. But my hands are very charged. Being an energy healer and practicing using your energy to charge, excuse my hands and my nails, y'all. But, you will be used, like you could the more you use it, the more stronger your energy will be, and the more you could feel it. So I can already feel heat. I can already feel the heat. But you do this, and with your eyes closed, and you just kind of play with the ball. Play with the ball with energy. Let it be whatever color your intuition wants it to be. I just made a thought form. It's non-binary. Its name is Otis. And I started off thinking about the white ball, but Otis, as it started to come aware of itself as my thought form, it turned itself orange. And in my mind's eye, I seen an orange square. It wasn't no longer round. It was squared, and it was orange. And it was kind of like a flat. I was like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. But that was also my mind, because I had already programmed before I even visualized Otis. I had already made a program of what I wanted it to do. It's a Black Panther, the animal. It's what it looks like, but it helps me become they help me become a better occultist. They help me with my magic. They help me unlock certain parts of my subconscious that helps me become a better occultist, just a better magician, a better magician, a better occultist, better magician, whatever, better adept, whatever you want to call me. And it's a very fiery energy. Otis is very fiery, very passionate about the arts, the dark arts, very fiery, because that's the type of energy I needed, that, to keep me, passionate, to keep me going, to keep me really, infused with, spirituality. And so, because my subconscious mind already knew that as I was working out its program, as I was picturing it. But mind you, I'm used to this visualization and things like that, because visualization and energy work is a very big part of my practice. So so I'm used to it. So my subconscious mind automatically started forming Otis the way that, Otis should be formed. Now, it all came from my subconscious mind, but in the moment, it was like Otis began to live. Otis began to have its own mind, because it turned from white on its own. I didn't will it. Well, I did subconsciously, but in my conscious mind, I'm thinking of a white ball, and it literally, within my own mind's eye, turned orange and square. And, I used a sigil to make Otis, and I thought it was funny because on the sigil, to circle in the energy from the sigil, I actually boxed it. I didn't make a circle. So the square, it was cool. It all worked together to create Otis. But anyways, so after you play with the energy, you form it. The next thing you want to do is form it. Make it, like I said, Otis is a Black Panther. They are a solid Black Panther. So, excuse me, with very dark black eyes. So, very intense looking. But, you can form it to look however you want it to look. Make it look like something that is, incongruent with what you want to create, for yourself. So if you're trying to lose weight, or whatever, maybe it looks like a nice figure, male or female, whatever you are, with a body like what you want to have. If you want to become a better athlete, for me to make it look like a basketball with eyes. I mean, you can make this look like whatever you want it to look like, right? So envision that, visualize that look as you're forming it. And what I like to do is I like to start programming it with affirmations. Whatever it is you want it to do, talk to it. You will help me stay away from sugar and fats and things that's going to put weight on me. You will, help me to crave healthy food. Whatever you want this thing to do, program it. Talk to it. Let it know what it's going to be doing. It's best to write all this stuff out before you start to create the energy ball. Write it out. So the things you want to know is you want to give it a name. You want to give it a call code. So how are you going to call it to you? What are you going to do? You gonna snap 3 times? Are you gonna say its name, clap 3 times, spin around, touch the ground, freeze? Like what is it that you're gonna do to call it forth to you? You also want to create a kill switch. If you want it to, once it's done doing its job and you want it to kind of just start to go away, or if you get the energy so strong that it starts kind of going left and starting doing the things that you don't want it to do, and the energy gets out of hand, because that can't happen, what is the off switch? You want to have a stop button to where, okay, we're done. So, do you want to, say the ABCs backwards, and then blow out a blue candle? Do you want to, pinch your wrist while screaming Bloody Mary? Do you want to put pepper in your hands and rub it together for 10 seconds? What is it? It has to be a combination. Let it be a combination of things that you can do, things that are easily accessible to you, that you can use or do, that's not commonly done by somebody, because you don't want to accidentally kill your thought form or have somebody else accidentally kill it, Sorry, y'all, my kids. But you want something that you can do that you can easily do in case you need to end this thought form yourself. So, okay, so you have that, the name, the kill switch, the call switch. What are you going to feed it? Minds eat affirmations. I feed minds affirmations of what I want it to do for me, as well as, but I talk the affirmations to it as if I'm talking to myself. So I say, you are a powerful occultist. You are, your subconscious mind is unlocked to where you could use your gifts, whatever. And also, incense, dragon's blood incense. So I always light a dragon's blood incense. I have a little, bottle, like a little spell jar, that I put it in, that's where my thought form lives, within a box. The box also has affirmations and other things in there that I put. So that's its home on the 3D plane. I use the incense and put it all over, put it in the box and all that kind of stuff. Close it up, and then I say that it's affirmations to it. So you want to, you want to have something that you feed it. So affirmations, you could have it to where it gets fed energy or charged with energy every time. If you're trying to lose weight, if the thought forms for you to lose weight, you can have it, well, every time I lose a pound, that's how it eats. It doesn't have to eat every day. It could eat every other day, every other month, however you want to do it. But just make sure you constantly, especially for the first week, at least, constantly feeding it energy so that it can grow. Eventually your thought form can, once a person puts isolated energy into a thought form, into something, and really try to make it grow, it can get so powerful that it can actually live, outside of you and become its own entity outside of you, like such as with Jesus Christ and things like that. So just be aware of that kind of stuff, that can happen. So you want to keep your thoughts very high. You want to keep your vibration very high before, because you don't want to have negative and low vibration when you're dealing with a thought form, because it can actually change that thought form to be very negative. And you don't want a negative entity just going haywire. Okay, so so you want to feed all that to it. You want to keep it going. You can make a thought form for whatever you want. But yeah, so anyways, that's about it. That's pretty much all. Oh yeah, you could use a sigil. So, if you know about sigils, essentially you take, a saying, a phrase, your intention, put it into a sentence, and that sentence turns into a symbol. There's some steps and a couple different methods you can use to make that sigil. I'll probably will do a video separately about sigils. But anyways, in the meantime, you can look online and figure out. It's not that hard to find out how to make a sigil. There's plenty of videos about it. You make that sigil with that intent. Once you make that sigil, you charge it by way of, you can masturbate to charge it, you can dance, you can meditate over it. Essentially, you just want to get into a receptive state, put the sigil in your mind. So your conscious mind forgets about it, but you're putting it into your subconscious mind, which doesn't forget anything. And so, now that sigil is, and what you do is you're tying that sigil to your thought form. And so, every time you go to charge your thought form and think about your thought form, put that energy in it, you're actually looking at the sigil, and charging that sigil instead with that energy. And, but there's some more stuff to that. I can actually, if y'all want to know, I can actually do a video, but I am working on a guidebook that goes into great detail of how to really, different ways and how I personally make my thought form and how I feed my thought form and things like that. But, you can essentially do whatever you want. Remember, this is energy. What you're doing is, with your brain and your mind, you are having an intention and you're growing it and feeding it energy, because thoughts are energy, emotions are energy. And anything you think, especially if you think of a form, and then you're putting it into a form, okay? That form lives now on an astral plane. Now, you can choose not to kill your thought form. It can live forever. It can live until you die. You definitely want to make its life end probably when yours do, at the very least, because you don't want it to just run haywire. And, because you're the one that programmed it, you might not know, nobody else might not know how to stop it. Because you're the only one with a kill switch. So, you definitely don't want that to happen. So when you make your thought form, if you don't want it to die, it can go when you go. Or you can, create like a vacation home in the astral world, on the astral plane, for it to live. So you think of a place for it to live with your own thoughts, and then it can go there. You can do that. But you do want to have a place for it to go on the astral plane as well. So if you have a little box to put it on the 3D plane, when you're feeding it, you can think of it, once you create it or whatever, you call it to you, have a little place for it on the 3D plane to symbolize it. But you can also, think of it and have it in the astral plane, have it in it. Where does it live? On the astral plane. Since mine is a Black Panther, it lives in a jungle, and it sleeps on a bed of fire. Which also feeds and charges it. So if I don't actively feed it with my affirmations and dragon's blood incense, it'll it'll feed energy wise on its bed of fire, which charges it up as well. So and then when I call it to me, I have a way I call it to me, I'll close my eyes and I'll think about it, and I'll actually think about it leaving its jungle, and then I'll think about it taking off and running into like a field of darkness, and that darkness is going to be like the bridge that brings it here to this 3D plane. So you can get as creative as you want, but that's essentially what you do. So you put your intent into energy and create an image out of it to associate it with. And you grow that energy by feeding it. Whatever way you want to. You can dance. Whatever way you want to feed that energy. You can say a certain word, a mantra. You can repeat a certain mantra over and over and over. However you want to grow that energy. And that's what ends up becoming the thought form. And once you have it, you continue to feed it every day, give it, tell it what it needs to do, program it, let it know what it's here to do for you. And I guarantee you, you will see it. You will actually see those things come to pass, and you will know. Trust me, your thought form will let you know that it's here. And so your mind is very powerful. You can do those things. Like I said, I'm going to be creating a guide about this if you want to know more in depth about what you can actually do, just different things you can actually do with a thought form and how I create minds specifically. I'll leave some links down there below once that is up, but also other ways that you can check out some more of what I do. Thank you guys for watching this video. Till next time, we'll get into more about the mind and different things we can do with our mind, how that can help us evolve into what we are trying to become. I love y'all. Until next time. Bye.